You're most welcome to the Gimle battles, and today we will be facing a new surprise. If you are a Patreon, that is a commissioned officer in the army of GMODISM, you may have seen some preview images of the Magnus Gladius. Today I will present you the never seen before Magnus Gladius, which is a great battleship I have been cooking together for quite some time. We actually won't go through looking at this vessel at all, really. I'll just say that it's a 2.2 million design, it has 1100 firepower, mostly of that is plasma. If you want to know how this thing is built, you have to look for the video which is gonna be out 1 day after this video you're watching right now was released, of the entire construction process of the Magnus Gladius, the design choices from start to finish. And maybe that video will get the amount of views dependent on how it does in this battle. I don't have any idea how it will do in this battle. Of course, its opponent hasn't been used in the battle testing of the Magnus Gladius, so we don't know how the final version here is gonna perform against this opponent. This is not anything less than IMPS, one of our most heavy submitters, lightweight flaming sled. This lightweight flaming sled has 1400 firepower, which most of it is flamethrowers, and then it has a lot of APS as well. It's pretty crazy. It stalks up on its enemy and it burns them alive. And of course, airships are not having a very good track record when it comes to being burnt alive. They kind of burn pretty fast. So the thing is, will this thing be able to get to the Magnus Gladius and burn it? The thing that is on the Magnus Gladius side is that the lightweight flaming sled is only 1,062,000. So it's very under budgeted. But this thing handed the Gimle class its own ass, you know, on the platter. It absolutely dominated the Gimle battles. It just came there, got to the Gimle's back and just barbecued her. It was terrible. Terribly amazing. That battle, you have to see that if you haven't already. But we will now get into the battle. We're just going to check out the lightweight flaming sled. It's a pretty fast vehicle, as you can imagine. We're having a lot of APS and we're having... Basically, this front section is somewhat of a meat shield and then also flamers. So the flamethrowers on this thing is absolutely terrifying. And to back that up, it has some... it has munition defense. Ooh, that's going to be very useless against, against this thing. I don't know if they auto-switch or something. To the other ammo type, because it does provide solid just penetrative damage and it does also have some frags. Well, I think perhaps the rearmost cannon here, no, that's also set to munition defense. Interesting. We're gonna see what's going on here. This is a big APS system on top of here, man. Well, it's basically a quick and maneuverable gun. We are going to jump right into the official battle and see these new two opponents meet. Or I mean, the lightweight flaming sled isn't new exactly, only the Magnus Gladius is new. And when you watch out tomorrow for the video showcasing the build of the Magnus Gladius, you can also get it from the Steam Workshop and download it. So please do that and give it a nice rating. Here we have the combatants spawned in. We have the Magnus Gladius and we have the lightweight flaming sled, which is just called Moskito. They are both airships, so we spawn them at 50 meters elevation. I am very excited to see this battle. I really hope the Magnus Gladius will not be outperformed by a ship half its cost. But If it is, I'm not gonna be shocked because the Gimle was. Yeah, the Gimle was. So let's just without further ado set the stages. The Magnus Gladius actually has a little timer, so it waits a little bit for its first volley. Oh bam, look at that side. We did do a... Whoa. The plasma is really opening up the poor Moskito here. Look at that. I wonder how fast the Moskito is. 50 meters per second. It's not faster than 50 meters per second. You know, I think the Magnus Gladius can go backwards faster than 50 meters per second. It's not gaining. It's not gaining. I wonder if the Magnus Gladius will collect, like, penalty points for staying too far away. It's definitely using a lot of weakness tactics, that's for sure. It's being very silly and very safe. It's playing safe. This is not the strategy I prefer. I really appreciate the Moskito's head brawling strategy. That's really cool, especially against something like the Gimle class. That was bold, man. But I really wanted to try and make an evasive airship. Oh my, look at this. Is it just luck, or is the Moskito completely outmatched? 67%. It's only been 1 minute and 30 seconds and the Moskito is almost despawning. It looks like it's completely disattached, but obviously it's not. And its sieve system seems to not be able to... Oh yeah, look at that. APS system went as well. Moskito seems to have nothing left. It can't even get close. It can't even get close. You know, I'm holding this tournament, so I'll set the rules. We're gonna have the next battle. We're gonna elevate the tension a little bit. So next battle. Now this is usually this is an exception from the rule. Usually you can only battle with 1 ship. You cannot use 2 ships. But for the next battle, the ISF Moskito is going to participate with 2 ships instead of 1 against the Magnus Gladius. And that will be counted as an official battle. If the Magnus Gladius wins that round, well, then it's set. But if it loses that round, it counts as a win for the Moskito. So we're gonna set up the next battle with 2 lightweight flaming sled Moskitos. So I hope you're happy, Imp. This will be interesting to see. Yeah, that's the perks when you make the tournament. You can set the rules. Preferably, however, not against your participants' odds. I mean, if the odds make it worse for myself as making the tournament, that's more or less okay. But if it would be against anyone participating, I wouldn't think it's okay. But anyways, what do I know? So okay, this is gonna be very interesting. Will the Magnus Gladius be able to defeat 2 Moskitos? You can see the timer went in there. Did they just miss? No, it's just a little bit delay in rendering there. I should actually enable smooth cam. Beautiful. Alright, and now we can see they are coming in here. Looks like the Magnus Gladius is now choosing to target both of them at the same time. I don't really know if I set up anything to be able to, like, shoot at multiple... I don't really know if I configure it to target two enemies at once, because honestly, I never tested this. It's obviously a battleship that's built to face the front of enemies. By the way, do you know why it's called the Magnus Gladius? Magnus means great, Gladius means sword. Kind of looks like a sword, don't you think? Well, that's what I thought at least. Alright. The Moskitos are closing in. One is at 91% and one is at 87. Something actually has hit the Magnus Gladius. Look at that. Yeah. Very interesting. And now the next barrage of plasma comes in. We got some diff gun rods there. It uses plasma mostly. Then we have APS, mostly rail guns. You can see those tiny guns on the side here. You will see them a little bit more. But they are basically burst firing 90mm sabot shells. So they provide interesting damage patterns for sure. Oh, looks like one Moskito. Both of them are down in the 80s. Look at that. Oh no, did they? No, they haven't collided, I hope. That would be very sad. I wouldn't want it to be against the Moskito's best interest to get a battle buddy, but you never know. Look at that. This is definitely a connection rod. That was an invisible little connection layer. We haven't really turned off the decos on the Moskito, or I don't remember doing it, so I don't really know how it's fitting together actually. Like, obviously these cables are just decos. Look at that. Well, one thing I will tell you, that is that the Magnus Gladius, I wanted to build it for some time, but actually in the official Gimle tournament, there was actually another ship that would participate in its place. Yeah, I actually thought to retrofit. Oh, one of the lightweight flaming sleds is going down. Look at that. It has despawned. We only have one left. And the Magnus Gladius air battleships, 2 repair bots, obviously had time to restore the tiny damage that was dealt to it. Not looking good for the Moskitos. Well, the reason why you're seeing Magnus Gladius here is because, one, I wanted to make a evasive aircraft based on some of the participants that are evasive aircrafts. I wanted to use a charge plasma system, which I ended up not using anyways. But more about that tomorrow, if you're watching this when it came out. But the reason why it's here is that I actually thought to retrofit a battleship from another creator and make it adapt to the rules of the Gimle battles. However, it was really cool and fun to make the Ultra Yamato Mark II, but after that I was a little bit semi-tired of retrofitting ships. And directly after that, I started to retrofit the Gimle Mark I to the Gimle Mark III. And after that, I was fucking tired at retrofitting ships. I didn't want to see a retrofitting upgrade of anyone's ship anytime soon, in like a very long time. I still don't want to retrofit anyone's ships for a long time. It took so much energy to do that with the Gimle. So yeah, I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want to retrofit because making that ship be able to participate in the tournament would require a lot of work, even though it would be fun. So instead, since I was working on the Magnus Gladius, I thought I'm gonna make it fit the Gimle rules, and I'm gonna stick it in there. Yeah, so that's why you have been waiting so long for this battle. And I guess congratulations to myself. The Magnus Gladius won its second battle to the ISF lightweight flaming sled by Moskito, which means it's going to go through to the next battle. It actually means that the Magnus Gladius is gonna be facing my other ship, the AOG Fafnir class, which is gonna be a very interesting battle to see. Now, as the little third battle in the background, we are going to just have 3 lightweight flaming sleds, Moskitos, to face the Magnus Gladius and see if they can get close. If they are 3 and actually deal some damage, we shall be able to notice that. You can see it's annoying and evasive. That's kind of what it does. In any case, really fun to see this battle, and it's really good that the Magnus Gladius won this battle too, because then it can meet a Fafnir class, and that's a battle I would have liked to see anyways. And the fact that it's gonna be official Gimle battles tournament canon just makes the stakes so much more interesting. I actually don't know if the Fafnir class or the Magnus Gladius is gonna be the better ship, because the Magnus Gladius is obviously very evasive, but the Fafnir class has a pretty scary laser. And it has a lot of missiles, and the Magnus Gladius basically has no anti-missile or anti-anything really. Just has a little bit of some lambs, but not scary lambs. Not scary lambs. Yeah, so it's gonna be very interesting to see that coming up later. So I wonder then which... We're gonna see later in the brackets which ship the Moskito is going to meet in the losers bracket. That will be, but of course that will be it will meet opponents. If it loses there, it's out of the tournament, but otherwise it will continue to fight. Looks like the Magnus Gladius actually tries to target multiple enemies at once, which happens to be a really good idea in this instance. Since they, yeah, but I don't actually know if they have any chance. They are just, you know, not getting close, it seems. Yeah, very much so outmaneuvered and outmatched in this particular battle. But it's hard to know. Remember that this little beast beat the Gimle class easily with half the materials. And that's definitely a feat to be proud of. I'm going to be very scared if the Magnus Gladius is gonna meet anyone's big cram battleship thing that is basically wood, because then I think the lightweight flaming sled, the Moskito, is gonna do pretty short work of them. Well, it really doesn't look like the Moskitos are getting up on the Magnus Gladius ass anytime soon. Well, what can we do about that? Well, one thing we can do is say big thanks to all of the supporters of the Army of GMODISM's commissioned officer, which is my Patreon. Commodore the All-Round Gamer, Commanders, Ali, Ben Wilkie, Cameron Dixon, Sven van der Velde, Lieutenants Anto, Cravey, Danley Sankin, Owen, Parvag Reed, Vincent Veritas, Volkite, Scuba Rocks, and Christian Co. So big thanks for supporting the channel every month. It helps a lot. And also big thanks to everyone in the Ecclesiarchy of GMODISM and the Government of GMODISM, which is our other support options. Well, with that said, that will conclude this little Gimle class battle, which is actually in the first line, the first matchup. It just took so long time for me to actually finish the Magnus Gladius and stuff. But here we are. And one thing you should also note is that since we had the update to the APS cannons, some of the participants' ships are actually too expensive, but they will of course not be disqualified. Their cost when they were submitted will still be counted. Anyways, the upgrade didn't really give anyone much bonuses, because the only thing they gave was basically more recoil absorption and stuff. And you don't really need that, right? Because if you built your ship well, you already had enough. So that basically means that the ship submitted now has too much recoil absorption if they're using APS systems. Oh well. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this little battle, and you'll have to check out tomorrow to look at how the Magnus Gladius was constructed from start to finish. I collected video clips from the entire process, so that's very cool to see while building, basically. Very nice. Hope you enjoyed this little video, and if you did, please leave a like and do subscribe if you haven't already. The statistics actually says that most of my viewers are not subscribed, so can you help me fix that? Well, in any case, check out also the GMODISM channel for extra from the depth content. I'm gonna be uploading some new videos there today, so I'll see you in future videos. This is your host Eric, and I am signing out. So see you, and GG Imp was a great battle.